I got 4 new books, exclamation marks. I also got one as a gift, and I just finished it today. It was so good. I loved it. It's called Twilight, and it was about a girl, and she fell in love with a boy, but he's a vampire. I know, it sounds really, really stupid, but it's so good. All right, perfect, yep. So, letters filled with teenage angst. October 30th, 2005. Dear Miss Bottega, okay, so another week has gone by now, and I think the last time I started a letter like this, I had just reread your last letter. Well, I just reread your last letter, and I saw my little reminder. Okay, so driving story. So my dad asked me if I wanted to drive him to his office downtown, and I say, what else but of course. So we took the Parkway into town, Ottawa, not really a town, and everything went very well. It was on the way home that things did not. So I'll tell you now so you don't worry that something really bad happened throughout my whole story. Nothing bad happened. Anyways, so I'm driving us home, and my dad keeps telling me that I was going too fast and to do this and that. I know, listen. Anyways, after he was done about telling me not to do 100 and some things, I asked if he could, let me make some mistakes on my own. So, I knew what it felt like, as long as it didn't cause us to crash or anything. He said he would think about it, and when he was talking, we passed by the Aviation Museum, and one of my lovely childhood memories came back to me. I went off into a little memory and was looking at the road, but I didn't really see it. I completely zoned out. I was gone off and didn't even know it. That is until I heard my dad yell at me, and I snapped back. Yeah, I was kind of driving off the road, and I was going, about 30 kilometers over the speed limit. So I swerved and was back on the road with my hands holding the steering wheel so hard I was white knuckles. My dad asked what had happened, and I said I didn't really know. He asked me if I was telling him off in my head. I said no, and I told him about the memory. Okay, so maybe that story isn't that funny, but I think it's one of those stories that you have to laugh at later, because if you don't, you'll scare yourself, So that was it. School, pain in my butt, test here and there and everywhere. I don't know how I'm doing in any of my classes right now, and I really hate that. But report cards come out soon, and maybe I'll know then. Oh man, I got some gift cards to Chapters for my birthday, and I loved it. I got 4 new books, exclamation marks. I also got one as a gift, and I just finished it today. It was so good. I loved it. It's called Twilight, and it was about a girl, and she fell in love with a boy, but he's a vampire. I know, it sounds really, really stupid, but it's so good. Now, I'm onto the books I bought. All Luann Rice books, I almost have all of them now, and there are more books that I want, but I have to wait until they come out in paperback. It sucks so much having to wait around. It only makes me want them more and more and more. The only problem with wanting the book so bad is if they turn out to be really crappy. I think I would cry. Not that I wouldn't bawl my eyes out anyway with Luann Rice and Nicholas Sparks books. Well, it's about 10 to 11 now, so I think I'll go to bed. It's earlier than I normally write you letters. Thinking of you, Miss Caden. November 10th, 2005. Dear Miss Bottega, Holey, Moley, Cramoley, exclamation marks. I just scared the crap out of myself. It was really funny. I got this new computer game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I had a thing for vampires, but anyway. And in this game, I get to be, can you guess, a vampire. So I'm a vampire named Nephi. I picked the name. Do you like it? I love it. And I get to run around LA doing stuff for different people. Would you like to know how I scared myself? Well, I was playing the game, and I'm doing this mission for this other vampire. She wants me to go to this haunted hotel and get something personal for some ghosts and bring it back to her. So off I went, thinking nothing of it. Well, let me tell you, this game is very realistic. So I'm really freaked out right now, and I keep thinking I'm hearing stuff. So I'm trying to calm myself down by writing you this letter. Hee 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 hee. I'm so freaked out right now that I have a steak knife by me. Ha ha ha. How funny is that? Well, I don't know if you think it's funny, but I do. Did I ever tell you about the time I came home and saw someone's cell phone in my house and I didn't know whose it was? I started to think it was a burglar's and he was upstairs trying not to make any noise. I almost called 911 to have the cops come and look through my house. This was in PEI, and at the time, my mom didn't have a lock on one of the doors, so really, it was an okay thought to have. Anyway, the cell phone turned out to be one of my mom's friends, and when they came home and I told them what I was thinking, they laughed their heads off. See, this is why I don't think I'll ever be able to live on my own. If I ever move out, I will have to live with someone, a friend or a roommate, but I don't think that would even work because I can't go to sleep knowing that someone will be coming into my house. Like last year when I would go home and see my mom, sometimes she would have to work late and she wouldn't come home until like 3. She was a bartender. So I would stay up till 3 waiting downstairs on the couch. Oh man, this one time she was working and afterwards she went over to a friend's house. She didn't call to tell me or anything. I was okay until 3, and then I fell asleep and when I woke up it was like 4 and she still wasn't home yet. I don't really know what happened to me. One minute I'm like, la la, and the next I was freaking out. I kept thinking that she'd been in a car crash and she was in the hospital. I called my sister and then my aunt. I started to cry. I'm telling you, I just lost it. My aunt told me she would go and drive by my mom's work to see if her car was still there. Meanwhile, my sister is trying to calm me down over the phone. I was a total wreck for about an hour. Then I see this car pull up, and wouldn't you know, out pops my mom. Ha 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 ha. My poor sister. As soon as I saw my mom, I stopped crying and became so mad. I was like, man, oh man, I'm going to freak out at her, exclamation marks. When my mom came through the door, I was like, where have you been? It's 5 o'clock in the freaking morning, and you didn't even call me to tell me where you've been. After, my mom said she was really sorry and she felt really bad. She thought my friend Ashley was staying the night and I wasn't by myself. I told her it wouldn't have mattered. I still would have flipped out. She kept saying she was really sorry and I told her it was okay. See how crazy my mind gets sometimes? So I really think living on my own won't work. Did you like my story? Didn't it sound like my mom and I were in the opposite shoes? I was the worried mother and her the kid. Ha 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 ha. Good times, I tell ya. Well, my mom doesn't work late anymore. In fact, she's a bus driver and the cafeteria lady. She sees my old friends all the time. I wonder if my grab pictures are done yet. Oh, that reminds me. Would you like one? I'm getting like 16 wallet sizes, so if you want, I can send you one. How are your kids? Did Mateo start kindergarten yet? Is he still going to learn French? Well, anyway, my shows are all over for tonight, and my, oh my, are they ever good. I would tell you all about them, but that would take about 20 more pages and like an hour and a half for each one, and really, I'm too tired to get all hyped on what's going on again. Oh yes, talking about shows, did you watch The Amazing Race this season? Keep smiling, thinking of you, Kaden. Thank you.